Hello, everyone. Today, I want to look at an instructive game, also a nice attacking game. A student of mine and I played it today against someone who at the time was rated a bit over 1500. And he didn't make any obvious mistakes. He played fairly passively. And I want to show you how to attack in those situations. Okay. The time control was 20 minutes, so usually very few mistakes are made during that time control, as long as people don't play fast and make stupid mistakes. Play d4, e6, d4, e6. The point of b6 is obvious. The bishop wants to come over here. Knight f3, h6. H6 is not a mistake. It's just not completely necessary at this point, or sometimes ever. Black needs to start developing something. This is not the best move. My student mouse slipped a little bit. The point behind the reason why this is not the best move, if this pawn was not here, this bishop would be quite good. But the problem is A, this bishop is not great, and B, sometimes black can gain time attack this bishop. So he'll probably have to move again. He plays knight e7, which is not the greatest way for the knight, but the knight probably might want to come here. Okay, we castle. Bishop b7 attacking our pawn. We defend it. Now, the reason we defend it with a queen is because we want to bring our rook and put it on the same line as his queen. a6. So it seems that black is trying to set up something like the hippo. And the hippopotamus or the hippo is when they put their pawns here. And then they can carry both of their bishops. And they put both their knights in the middle. And they sit and wait for you to do something. And at some point they might poke with one of these moves. Okay. We developed our knight. And he continues with the hippo setup. We developed our bishop. And he continues with the hippo setup. Now we can stop him from castling by playing this move, but we decided to just develop all our pieces. He castled, and now I'll play d5. e5 is a committal move. It has its ups and its downs. So the ups, we control this square, which is kind of useful. We are also giving our knight an opportunity to sometimes, not right away obviously, but sometimes to come to the other side, and maybe we can do something on this square. The downside, well, we helped his bishop become better, and we helped his knight get better. His knight now has these squares. Whenever you push a pawn, you leave weaknesses behind. Which is what he did. He came to one of those weak squares. And we dropped the bishop back. The reason we dropped the bishop back is well, if you remember, this bishop is not very good. Well, now he's coming back over here. He took our bishop, which is fine. We took back with the queen. And then he challenges the center. So, and in general, it's a good idea. When your opponent has a lot of space, you want to challenge it. So, he does that. Okay. We don't really want to take him because we would like to keep controlling this square. So we'd like for him to take us so that we could take with a pawn, and then our rook gets this open line. So the question is, how can we improve our position in the meantime? Well, we played the knight e4 because the knight was not doing very much over here, and we bring it to the other side where he will join the attack. And black decides to close everything. The downside, he also blocks in his bishop. Okay, we played the knight g3. We're getting ready to attack. Knight c6. It looks like a weird knight, but he might try to come this way. We played c3. because the other point behind his knight move is he wants to come here and trade his knight for a bishop, which plays an important role over here. So we spent a move to stop it. And he played knight e7, which makes sense. The knight is going to come here. Also, he can maybe challenge the center with c5. And we play knight h4. The reason for knight h4, we want to attack. And we would like to get f4 in. In some world, we might want to sacrifice here. Obviously not now, but at some point. Rook c8 is somewhat unnecessary. I mean, if he wants to play c5, he can do it right away. Like, there is no need to put the rook over here yet. And we played f4. He plays c5. If we take him, his bishop will have potential to activate, so no reason to take. And we move our knight back. It looks like a strange move, but the reason is, if we go back, we would like to play f5. f5 is not working right now. And so we moved here so that we could play g4. Okay, he takes up pawn. We take back. We could have also taken with the knight. The downside of taking with the knight in this position is at some point when f5 is played, e5 will become weak. So the upside of moving the knight here, it's a pretty good knight, and this line is blocked. So both moves have their ups and downs. We took with the pawn. He brought his knight here, which, well, at some point he might do this, but I think his knight needed to support the king side. We brought our knight back because that was the other point of this move. Our knight was attacked. So the important thing to remember when someone moves, don't just look at what moved, look at what changed. He played knight b4. Well, he wants to take the pawn, and again, he wants to trade this bishop. So we spent a move on bishop b1 because we're dealing with both of those things. He played a5. And the reason is his bishop is not very good, and he wants to make it better, and he wants to trade it for this knight. And so we don't want to do that. So we spend time to kick his knight, and then bring our bishop back to d3, so that the black bishop is, again, not very good. Okay, black knight realized he belongs here all along. We play g4. This is a useful move for two reasons. A, the rook will be able to defend sideways, and B, you will see in a move. We brought the knight back because we want to play f5, because it was being controlled 3 times. So now it's also controlled by our pieces 3 times. And he plays bishop c8. That was another point of moving the rook, because now his bishop helps to cover this square. So we played h4. And it looks like we open up our king, but don't worry. This king is 100% safe. He moved the queen to help to reinforce things. And the reason we moved h4 is how we move h5. Because if we get rid of this pawn, it's going to be much easier for us to do this. And this move, maybe he wants to trade his bishop. We move the rook up. The reason we move the rook up, if you notice, this rook was not doing very much. Now when we raise the rook, it can jump to one of these squares, where it will participate in the attack. Okay, bishop b5. In general, it's a good idea. When you're being attacked, you would like to trade. Because if you trade off all the attackers, then you will not get checkmated. Okay, we took. The reason we took is we wanted to draw the queen away from here, from this diagonal. And we play knight h4. We're doing it for 2 reasons. We're putting pressure here, and we're also opening this up. And he plays a very good move. He wants to trade queens. And we play g5 because we want to open up everything. If we took this pawn right away, he would just take back. That doesn't help us very much. So the points, we want to open up more things. And here he plays queen a5, which is too slow. He's preparing something like this, but it will take forever. He should have tried to trade queens. And the points we couldn't block with zero because then the spawn falls. So we probably would have to trade and the attack ends. And this was his chance, and he missed it. We played f5, which looks really fun and really crazy. The logic is we attacking this twice, and B, something somewhere is going to open up. He took on f5, we took on h6, he saved his bishop, and we brought our queen to put more pressure here. He defended, and we brought the rook to put eventually even more pressure on this pawn. He provided more defense, and we moved the kings. The reason is our king is a little bit uncomfortable being on this line, and also we want to put even more pressure. And I think it took us a couple of minutes to come up with that move. Yeah, it took us about 4 minutes because sometimes you get in positions where you think there is a forcing blow, but sometimes you don't find it. And so instead of doing it anyway, try to ask yourself, how can I build up? How can I improve even further? Which is why we did this, and then we brought our rook. And he plays this one, which is okay. And the reason for the knight move is the knight is going to come back here and put even more pressure. And it also opens up our rooks, which means we will have a grand total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things attacking over here, which is just really good. And here he finally cracked. He's losing anyway, but he blundered a knight, and then we won very quickly. But we would have won anyway because of the pressure here. The rest of the moves is not so instructive. But the lesson I want you to take away from this game is when the position is closed, which it was for a long time. Notice the middle is closed, so you can take your time and slowly build up an attack and try to bring your pieces, and you can take your time to improve. I hope you enjoyed this game. I hope you learned something. Please like, please subscribe, and I will be back.